Hi guys, welcome back. This is Summer. Today we're going to talk about how to construct a sentence in Chinese. Since this topic is extremely big and complicated, I'll break it down into a few videos step by step from the basic structure to the more complicated ones. Feel free to check the description and jump to the chapter that you want to watch. So in today's video, I'll show you one simple rule that you can easily follow to make most of your Chinese sentence correct. Let's get started. It's actually quite easy to transform an English sentence into a Chinese one. The trick is to put the words in the right word order. When it comes to simple sentences, such as I study Chinese, Chinese sentences follow the same word order with English, which is subject plus verb plus object. Subject can be somebody or something that performs an action, such as I. Verb is the action, such as study. And object is somebody or something that an action is done to, such as Chinese. Sometimes when we don't need to point out the object, this structure can even be simpler. Subject plus verb, such as I study. When it comes to complicated sentences, where more details are added into a sentence, such as I studied Chinese with her together at the school yesterday, then the Chinese sentence order can be very different from English. But don't worry, most Chinese sentences follow this rule of word order, which is based on the subject plus verb plus object. We can think about verb and object as the action as a whole. And then we put all the extra details about when, where, how the action happens in front of the action. That is subject plus when the action happens, plus where the action happens, plus how the action happens. And then we talk about the action. So for this example, if we follow this rule, the Chinese sentence order should be subject, I, when, yesterday, where, at the school, how, with her, and then the verb and object, study Chinese. 我昨天在学校和他学中文. The biggest difference between Chinese and English is that in English, you point out the core information, the action first, and then you talk about the extra information about the action, such as when, where, and how the action happens. In Chinese, however, we talk about the additional information first, and then we let you know what the action is at the end. One exception of this rule is that the when words can sometimes show at the very beginning of a sentence, such as 我昨天学中文 or 昨天我学中文. This is actually very similar with English, where you can either say, I studied Chinese yesterday, or yesterday I studied Chinese. In addition, we should know that how an action happens can include many different aspects. It can be the manner of the action, such as study Chinese happily, diligently, etc. Or it can be the instrument, what you use to do the action. For example, study Chinese with computer. Or it can be the target, who or what the action is aimed at. This includes doing things for somebody, or on behalf of somebody, or towards somebody or something, etc. We will dive deeper into this in the future videos. Check the link in the description to find out more related videos. Okay, I know that this is a lot of information to digest, so if you think it's already overwhelming, you should pause the video and watch the rest next time. If not, then keep watching, as I'm going to show you two tricky parts of this word order rule. The first one is about the location words. Let's look at this example. I walk to the school. Pause the video and think about it. Where should you put to the school in a Chinese sentence? If your answer is to put it in front of the verb, then you're wrong. To the school should stay behind the verb. 我走去学校. You might ask why. Isn't the school a location? You just told me a location shows before the verb. Actually, if you look back at the word order rule, it should be the location where the action happens. To the school here is not where the action happens. It's actually the destination of the action. Actions like go, walk, move often leads to a destination. So if the location is the destination of these kind of actions, it stays behind the verb, such as I went to, walk to, move to the school. 我去到，走到，搬到学校。Another special case is that certain verbs like live, stay, sit, stand are often closely tied to a physical location. For these kind of verbs, the location should also stay behind the verb, such as 我住在中国，他坐在椅子上，他站在树下。If you find this confusing, you can just think of them as exceptions of the word order rule. The second tricky part is the time words. For example, I've worked for 3 years. Similarly, for 3 years here is not when the action happens. It is the duration of the action, or for how long the action lasts. So the rule doesn't apply, and the time words, which is the duration, should stay behind the verb. 我工作了3年。Similarly, in these examples, 他在家看电影，看了10个小时。To help you better understand this, you can simply think of the destination of an action or the duration of an action as part of the action itself. That is why it naturally stays behind the verb. Okay, let's go through how to make a correct Chinese sentence in 3 simple steps. For example, he chatted with a stranger on the street for 1 hour yesterday. First, when you make a sentence, find out the most core element of the sentence, which is subject and the action. Second, put the actual elements regarding when, where, and how the action happens in front of the action in this order. That is, subject plus when, where, how the action happens, and then the action. Thirdly, if it is the destination or duration of an action, they should be viewed as part of the action. They just naturally stay behind the verb. The answer is 他昨天在街上跟一个陌生人聊天，聊了1个小时。Okay, that's all for today's video. We'll dive deeper into this topic in the next video, and I'm going to show you more tips to help you master the Chinese sentence structure. See you in my next video. Bye!